Ever feel like no matter how hard you work, you can't get ahead? And worse, like you're the only one this keeps happening to? There's a reason, and it's not what you think. A single line, written 3,000 years before credit cards existed, names it exactly. That feeling has a name: debt. Not the size of it, the structure of it. And here's something worth knowing before we go further. Everything you're about to hear, someone else watching this right now is feeling too. Today, I want to show you 5 quiet ways debt controls more of your life than you realize, and exactly how to start taking that control back. Proverbs 22, verse 7. The rich rule over the poor. The borrower is servant to the lender. Solomon isn't shaming anyone here. He's simply describing what a loan actually does to a relationship. Whoever holds the debt holds the terms. Way number 1, the number that never moves. There's a specific kind of tired that comes from watching a balance barely move, no matter how much you send it. If that's the exhaustion you're carrying right now, you're not imagining it, and you're not the only one carrying it tonight. Proverbs calls the voice that keeps you here folly, not because you're foolish, but because folly's whole strategy is convincing you the minimum is enough, so the shame never has to surface. Wisdom just asks one honest question instead. What happens if you send $5 more than you have to? That's the whole fix. A minimum payment was never proof you were behind. It was proof no one had asked you that question yet. Way number 2, borrowing to keep up. There's a particular unease that shows up right after you tap 4 payments of $12.50, a half second where some part of you already knows. If you felt that unease and swiped past it anyway, that's not weakness. That's just how loud folly's voice is at a checkout screen. She isn't lying to you. She's just very good at making later sound like never. Wisdom's method is smaller than people expect. Before you split anything into payments, ask if you'd still want it with nobody watching. You're not broken for wanting things. You're just allowed to hear that question before you tap buy. Way number 3, the debt with no paperwork. Some debt never shows up on a statement. It shows up as the tightness in your chest every time a certain name lights up your phone. If you felt that exact tightness, you're far from alone. It may be the most common debt on this list and the least talked about. Folly keeps it that way on purpose. She thrives in what stays unspoken. Wisdom's fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Say the number out loud, even just to yourself, and put a real date on it. Unspoken debt to someone you love doesn't stay neutral. It quietly sits inside every conversation until you name it. Way number 4, the debt that isn't money. There's a specific flavor of resentment that builds when your calendar fills up with everyone else's requests before you've claimed a single hour for yourself. If you know that flavor, you're not ungrateful, and you're not alone in it. Folly frames it as generosity. She tells you a full calendar means a full life. Wisdom asks something smaller. What would you actually protect if you treated your time the way you treat money? Decide in advance what you can give, and let no finish a sentence on its own. A calendar with no room left isn't proof you're needed. It's just debt paid in hours instead of dollars. Way number 5, the debt you hand down. And maybe the quietest feeling of all. The flicker of recognition when you catch your own child comparing or quietly covering something up in exactly the way you do. If that flicker is familiar, you're not a bad parent. You're just watching the truth that patterns get inherited before lessons ever do. Folly doesn't need to teach your children anything directly. She just needs you to stay silent long enough for them to learn by watching. Wisdom's fix isn't a lecture. It's letting them see you say no once, or pay something off out loud, or choose contentment where comparison usually wins. Your kids won't inherit your bank balance. They'll inherit whichever voice they watched you listen to. A minimum payment feels like proof you're trying, but it's just folly's favorite lie. The urge to keep up at checkout feels harmless, but it borrows against a life that isn't yours yet. The silence around family debt feels private, but it's shaping every conversation you're not having. Owing everyone your time feels generous, but it's quietly emptying you out. And the patterns you never interrupt feel invisible, but your kids are already reading them. None of this is named to shame you. It's named because the moment you can hear Folly's voice clearly, you're already listening to wisdom instead. If even one of these was you, you are not alone and you are not stuck here forever. That's not how this verse ends. Hold on to this promise. The Lord your God will bless you, as he promised you. You will lend to many nations, but you won't borrow. You will rule over many nations, but they will not rule over you. Deuteronomy 15, verse 6. If you want that for your own life, pray it with me. Lord, teach me to lend and not borrow, to rule over my money and not be ruled by it. Amen. Debt doesn't get the final word over your life. It never did. If this spoke to you, tell me in the comments where you're starting. Subscribe, and let's keep listening for wisdom's voice, one proverb at a time.